Guys, this holiday season, how about giving your wife or girlfriend something totally different? Something romantic that celebrates the unique connection between you and her. I'm talking about a luxury gift service called Enclosed that delivers designer lingerie to your lady month after month. Enclosed is like a flower of the month or a beer of the month, but instead of flowers, she gets surprised with ultra high-end lingerie. And this is seriously high-end stuff, the kind of quality that will really impress your lady. Enclosed was designed specifically to help guys find gifts for their wives. Enclosed is all about helping you make her happy, and Enclosed is effortless for you. Every month Enclosed sends your wife or girlfriend a custom curated lingerie gift selected just for your lady, and they back the gift up with a 100% size guarantee, so you never have to worry about fit. You can join more than 30,000 couples that love Enclosed, and I'll give you a little gift. Right now you can get $35 off your Enclosed gift. Just go to enclosedlingerie.com, enter the code MANU at checkout to get $35 off any Enclosed multi-month gift. Why not give your wife something that really reflects and deepens the connection between the two of you? Something that you would never give your mother. That's enclosedlingerie.com with the code MANU for $35 off the best gift ever.
The shout now. Well done, Bobby Charlton. Well done, Manchester United.
It's a Sheringham, and Solskjaer has won it! Radisson saved it! United again! René! A magnificent goal by Robin van Persie!
Hello everyone, welcome to United Hour, your official redcafe.net podcast on all things Manchester United. My name's Imran.
I'm Nick.
And that's it, it's just me and Nick today. I am back in the pod, which means nobody else wants to talk to me. Apart from Nick. I had to pay Nick to talk to me, so...
You just come back because we're doing shit again, right? You were just waiting till we were rubbish again.
Well, we've been rubbish for ages, so actually I was hoping that we'd actually do well at some point, but it's just not going to happen, so I have to come and share my misery with everyone in these dire times. But yeah, we'll get into everything. So in this pod, we're going to talk about the Southampton game, the Young Boys of Bern game, and the Crystal Palace game, and then we'll get into a preview of Arsenal. We're recording this on Sunday night, so yesterday evening we went to St Mary's to face Southampton, a team who I think they've not won a game in like forever, and near the bottom of the league, not doing very well this season under Hughes. I think the favourite two managers for the bookies to be sacked, Hughes and Mourinho, so it was a meeting of the minds between them. And it wasn't a great result, but it could have been worse as Southampton went 2 goals up and we fought back to a 2-2 draw. I don't really know where to start, so I'm gonna pose this question to you, Nick, and I'll see how you take it.
Go on.
Okay, so do you think we would have had more of a chance of winning this game if we had gone in at half time either 2-0 down or 2-1 down?
No, because I thought even, coming back to the 2-2, I fully expected we would go on to win the match. The whole thing's just bizarre. The amount of times that you just have the deja vu of starting awfully, conceding goals, but then somehow still coming back into the match again. This one obviously was all just, kind of Newcastle basically, the most awful team in the league coming, can't get a goal, and they're 2-0 up against you within 20 minutes or something. I've been wanting to support Mourinho for a long time, but this was like one of the worst half hours of football I've seen us play. Well, definitely since Fergie's gone. But yeah, for a long, long time. But then bizarrely, we still managed to go in 2-2 at half time.
McTominay just behind the wall. Cedric, what a goal! What a strike! 2-0 Southampton. Lovely turn from Rashford. He's managed to find a cross, and United have got another goal, and Herrera with the finish. Magnificent work from Marcus Rashford.
Here's my theory. Okay, so I think Mourinho's lost the players at this point. And I think the players only generally kick in when there's almost like professional pride at stake almost, when they think, well, this is a bit crap, we should probably actually start playing. Hence why we always go down in these games, because we just start them with such apathy and general, I can't be bothered with this. And then we kind of kick into it, like against Newcastle in the second half, we got the goals, we kicked into it. I feel like in this game, we kicked into it when we were 2-0 down, got both goals, went in at half time, they all looked at Mourinho and thought, oh, yeah, all right, it's him. And then they came out in the second half and just couldn't be bothered again. So I actually think if we'd been behind, we'd come out again even if we'd been 2-0, we would have got that goal and then we probably would have kicked on. Someone joked on the cast that it was probably because Mourinho reminded them that they should be playing like they were at the beginning of the game, but probably not the case. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's completely lost them at this point. So
I mean, it's funny because look, I know you haven't been on for a few weeks, and last time you were on, I think that was exactly the discussion we were having. Has Mourinho lost the dressing room? And we disagreed on it at the time. I can't remember exactly which match it was, but I think it was at least a month or so ago, right? I was saying, look, I still don't see that the players totally down tools and are not playing for him anymore. And especially if it was after that we had that kind of Newcastle comeback and obviously Juventus and these comebacks from there, which to me constantly kept showing that, yeah, these players are still willing to play for him. But what you think that they're just doing this off personal pride and nothing to do with the manager?
yeah, basically, I think it's almost like when they concede a goal, they feel like, oh, we can do what we want as long as we get a goal now, kind of thing. We don't have to maybe stick to a plan, or we just need to get a goal, so let's go do it our own way, kind of thing. Maybe that's a bit simplistic, but I do think there's an element of. I mean, it's just happening too often now.
Yeah, no,
we just go behind. We're starting so poorly in these games, and we're going behind in pretty much every single game. That even if we don't go behind, we still start terribly. So yeah, I think there's just too much in that for it not to be something there, and yeah, I do think Mourinho's kind of lost them.
I mean, this game was a particularly weird one just because of the starting lineup and who was playing. I mean, when I saw that team sheet, it was
shocking.
Yeah, you look at the team sheet and you just have no idea what we're going to play. Who's in defence? Martial sat on the bench. Lukaku's back in. And it was one of the most baffling team sheets I've seen in a long time. I didn't think we were going to play a back three. I thought it was going to be Jones with either. I didn't know whether it was McTominay, Matic, Fellaini. It was kind of obvious one of them was obviously going to be a centre back. But for me, the whole problem was that all of a sudden, not only are you putting midfielders into defence, you're then going into that back three that I know we have played it this season, but we haven't played it for several weeks. So you're throwing them into a unfamiliar formation with players totally out of position. And for me, it just really made no sense whatsoever to do that.
It made no sense.
And it's exactly the reason why we end up going 2-0 down straight away.
I mean, he's got fair play. We've only got one fit defender. I mean, I assume Rojo is like, half fit maybe.
But that's another question. Like, if he's sat on the bench.
Yeah, there's always that idea. If you're sat on the bench, then you're fit. A lot of players say, if you're on the bench, then you're fit enough to play. But we don't know what maybe Rojo's actually just got a broken leg and he's sat there for shits and giggles. Who knows? But say Rojo can't start the game, all right, for whatever reason. We don't really know. Let's not get that. But say that is the case. So you've got one fit centre-back. What you would think, all right, I have to play one person out of position here, which is pretty bad, but that's okay. So why on earth would you think, I'll just do I'll play two people out of position? Like, that makes no sense. In any way does that make any sense? Like, things are already difficult by playing one person out of position. So you just do it two, and then as a result, changing the entire system of the team.
Yeah, there's basically everybody's out of position.
Exactly. And then, we had a game on Wednesday. This game was on Saturday. So you're telling me they've worked on it for 2 days in training? How is that preparation? I
don't even think it was 2 days because he did his press conference. And unless I totally missed something, Smalling and Bailly were not mentioned as players who were injured on the Friday. So it's between press conference on Friday and 5 o'clock on Saturday that apparently both of these two players have got injured. In what one? Is this all down to Phil Jones being back around and careering round somewhere? I don't know.
Phil Jones got into him.
I mean, I know what Mourinho's logic is going to be because he's said this kind of thing before, where he's going to say, "Oh, I knew we were going to be weak at the back, so I decided to play 3 central defenders rather than 2." But
that's stupid because you make yourself weaker by playing people out of position at the back.
I agree. I agree with you.
Mind-bogglingly stupid. Sorry, it just makes me so angry to think about it. I was already quite angry on Saturday when I saw it, and then it's really. Question then is he doing it intentionally? Does he want to get sacked?
I mean, it's very difficult to say somebody wanting to get sacked. I think that because of his ego and whatever. I do not think there's any truth in these kind of stories that he's almost wanting to get sacked and just purposely messing around, because I don't think his ego is going to take being a failure at Manchester United. Whatever happened at Madrid and whatever, he still kind of walked away saying, yeah, well, I won the league and got you to whatever Champions League, much further than you'd been for years. Whereas if he loses and finishes anytime soon at us, then can't really go down as much else apart from a failure. And it will be the first time in his whole career that anybody will say that, yeah, you failed there. So I can't really see that his whole ego will take that. And yeah, I honestly just think that he decided that this was the best way forward somehow. And like I say, that will be his logic, that I was going to have to play a sort of midfielder in defence. So to help him out, I decided to play a three-man defence. But for me, you're much better off staying with the 4-4-2 we've been playing with for weeks. All right, not 4-4-2, 4-3-3, whatever it is, but four at the back. And then, yeah, protecting them with a couple of defensive midfielders if need be. I mean, yeah, even if you look at players who are sat on the bench, Fred, Martial, Mata.
Well,
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, these are the 2-3 players who've actually been performing the best for us over the last month or so. And none of them are starting this match.
I mean, there's different. It seems like there's different rules for different players. Some players
Whereas
get.
Matic goes from stinking up the midfield to stinking up the defence, basically.
It just depends on who the player is, I think. For instance, Ashley Young can be poor for consecutive games. He'll be fine. Same with Matic. Lukaku, obviously the same. Even Pogba to an extent, but less so than the other two, because he will happily take Pogba out of the team. Lindelof was allowed to be poor for quite a while before he came good. And that's not a lesson there in Mourinho. Like, it might take a run of games to actually work your way into the team. And I'm not even Lindelof's biggest fan. I don't think he's been amazing by any stretch of the imagination. But
well, you could see, you did see in Lindelof that there'd been a big improvement. That was the thing, that it was definitely getting better.
Because he's been allowed to. Maybe Mourinho said, you know what, you're my centre back now. You're going to play all these games, and there you go. Suddenly, it actually breeds a bit of confidence and breeds a bit of consistency in performance. Nobody else gets that treatment, or very few players. Matic gets that treatment, but he doesn't seem to reflect in his performance. And I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, he's managing completely changes from person to person, from game to game, from scenario to scenario. It's very scattergun and bizarre at this point.
Yeah, look, he obviously has favourites, people who he thinks he can trust.
But they're the ones letting him down. That's what makes no sense.
Yeah, and he had dropped Lukaku finally earlier this year, but is throwing him back in, in the last couple of matches. And all right, I mean, yeah, Lukaku did score in this game, but he still generally was pretty poor.
I mean, he did get injured falling over his own first touch.
Yeah, I mean, even when while he'd been out, I thought, even though neither of them had been great, but I thought both we'd looked a lot better, and we'd had a decent run of matches with whether it was Rashford, whether it was Sanchez playing up front. We'd actually had some decent results, half decent performances. So why Lukaku had been thrown all of a sudden straight back in there was a bit bizarre to me, and especially in this game where Martial, who'd been our best player for weeks now, is sat on the bench. I do see that maybe he needed a rest, but when a lot of players are injured, you're changing a lot of players, then surely you want to try and keep as many of the others in like the lock position they've been in for a few weeks.
I mean, this is the manager who will say that players need a rest, but also will say that players need to play for injury to play for him. I mean, there are the many random contradictions of Jose Mourinho right there.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we look at obviously we're going to have to talk about the whole Jose thing, and going back, obviously you'd been one of the first to want him out, and I've been trying to stick by him as much as possible. And yeah, I really thought that this run of games after this international break, Palace, Young Boys, Southampton, was the kind of easy run we needed to start pushing forward again. And, on the last podcast, we had predictions of where we thought we were going to be at the end of the year. And all right, I always like to try and be overly optimistic, but yeah, I really thought that we could push towards being top four again. And now, yeah, it's looking a million miles away, really. If we can't beat Crystal Palace and Southampton, then yeah, I don't really know where you go from there.
Yeah, it's well, I do want him gone. Obviously, not the only one, but from the pod, I think a lot of the rest of the podcast folk are in the gone camp. Are you in the gone camp yet?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot since yesterday, and as you know, I'm somebody who's very, very reluctant to get rid of a manager in general. I'd want to give somebody every chance. And I don't know. I just don't see, like, if we get rid of Mourinho now, I just don't see where we go from there. Our last two managers are both managers with very good records, and you can, start going into the nth detail of how maybe they weren't the right guy for this and that and whatever. But they're both guys who've won a lot of things at a lot of different clubs. And if we fail with both of them, then yeah, where do we go after that?
Well, I mean, anything's better than what we've got now. We've got players who aren't playing for the manager. We've got just stuff about dressing room bust-ups coming out, and we've got these dire performances. Which, I mean, a lot of people saying obviously the squad isn't good enough, the team isn't good enough, the players aren't good enough, and Mourinho would have you believe that he's doing the best he can with what he's got, which I think is utter crap, really. But we can be better than this. Like 100%, we can be better than this. We can beat Crystal Palace at home. We can beat Southampton away. We can smash Young Boys. Like these are results that can easily happen for us with a different manager. Even if it's just like people seem to be against the idea of a caretaker, but why not? Like other teams have caretakers. Often it goes quite well. Often they have a little bit of a boost, and then you sort it out from there. But otherwise we're just holding on to this and this negativity around the club, around the way we play. Like it's just there doesn't seem to be an end to it. And yeah, we pull out a win every now and then, but then we just come straight back to this and talking about these same things over and over again. It's a never-ending cycle with Jose, and even if it's where do we go from here, wherever it is, it's better than this.
Yeah, the only thing is, you're right, it's a never-ending cycle, but you said it's a never-ending cycle with Jose. I think it's a never-ending cycle that even goes back before that. Like, I can remember us having podcasts under Van Gaal and talking about how, we had a little bit of a run of games and then we'd have a couple of bad results. Play wasn't going that well, boring performances, not enough goals. It's kind of been us going round and round in circles for about, 4 or 5 years now, unfortunately, where things kind of seem like they're going to get better and you hope that we're going to turn a corner and it just doesn't seem to happen.
But you've got to hope that we will turn a corner at some point.
But really then, you start going into much bigger issues about directors of football, who's in charge of transfers, what's going on in the boardroom. And yeah, really, for me, that's where still things do really need to get sorted out. And if you just keep changing manager every couple of years, then you've got a whole load of players that the new manager doesn't want. You have to start again, spend a whole load of new money or whoever that manager wants, new system. And then, I don't know, you just start from square one again.
The problem with that is it's Ed Woodward, isn't it, right? And he is unlikely to give up his reins. He might get a director of football in, he might not. But ultimately, I think it's unlikely he's going to let go of the power he has almost. The manager is something that you can be vocal about changing, that you can see the change instantly in terms of selection and morale and tactics and etc. And ultimately, I mean, the back does need to change, don't get me wrong. It does need to change up there, but if it does stay the same and Ed does hold on to all his power, then you at the very least want a manager who is a bit more proactive, forward thinking, doesn't act like a knob would be nice. Just even that might get us a bit. Ultimately, there's no point in keeping on with Mourinho when it's just going to be like this. It's bad at the top, but it's also bad at the bottom, and that's where he is.
So then that's the other question is, who can we actually go for at this point?
I mean, I'm happy. I'd be happy with a caretaker. I'd be happy with McKenna just stepping in. I don't think there's anything wrong with a caretaker manager when it's at least getting rid of a negative impact on the squad and the selections, etc. And then you can look. I mean, there are managers available. It's who would fit. Who knows at this point? I would obviously like Pochettino, despite Spurs getting thwacked by Arsenal. But I think those results can happen when top 6 teams play each other. I still think Pochettino's a good manager. And I think you could tempt Levy with enough money to get him in January, maybe. Zidane's available for free. We don't really know how. I mean, he worked with Madrid, and I mean, there's Hardim's gone to Saudi Arabia now, I think, so he's out, and who knows? Like, I think we have enough money to make money talk, and we can probably get a decent caliber of manager in, but that's for like Woodward to kind of sort out. But ultimately, whatever it is, it's got to be better than Mourinho at this point. Mourinho is just so toxic, and there's a ton of negativity around the club, around the players, around the performances. It's just not good, is it? And I don't see the point in it continuing just because, well, there's no one else. You don't. If you're going out with a girl and it's not going very well, you don't think, oh, I'll just stick it out because I don't know, I might not find anyone else. You move on.
Yeah, look, these 3 gap match runners makes me doubt it a lot, basically. Whereas I was trying to stick with a lot, hoping things would turn. But you couldn't really get an easier run of 3 matches on paper. And for us to struggle, I mean, we did get a win and qualify in the Champions League midweek, but it was hardly pretty and hardly a classic. But yeah, Crystal Palace, Southampton. I don't know. Yeah, look, like I say, we've got Arsenal midweek. And the funny thing is, like, I actually think we'll probably do all right in that game because we kind of had this pattern of actually doing okay in the bigger matches in general and struggling against the so-called cannon fodder.
Yeah, although we did lose 3-0 to Spurs at home.
Yeah, we did lose to City. We did lose to Juventus at home as well. But all right.
Yeah, the only other so quote unquote top 6 team to come to Old Trafford was Spurs, and they thwacked us 3-0. Although some would say we started all right in that game. I'm not so sure, but just quickly just tie up a couple of loose ends from the Southampton game. The first goal was one of the most shambolic pieces of defending on the season, which is quite an honour for us. You would say, considering how bad we are defensively at times. But that goal was just awful. Allowing, was it Redmond to just run across our penalty box? We're just dangling legs out at him, and just disastrous all round, really.
Yeah, and nobody tracking. It was Armstrong who scored, right?
Yeah.
I think Matic was closest to him for a bit and losing completely. And you kind of say, well, maybe it's not that much of a surprise because, yeah, he's been crap in central midfield. So to expect him to do anything in centre back is unrealistic, really.
And then one of our positives to come out of the game was probably Marcus Rashford. Started the game quite erratically. Was quite poor, and then you thought, oh no, maybe he's going to start trying too hard and probably start fluffing his lines, but actually got 2 very good assists, showing strength for the first one.
He had an absolute awful first hour game, and yeah, he gives away the free kick that leads to their second goal.
Yeah.
He's blasting shots over, every pass of his is going astray, but it really shows a massive mental strength for him that. And, it goes back to the game before where Mourinho's thrown his arms up when he misses shots, but that he just keeps going, doesn't let any of that affect him. And, yeah, in the end, he's got 2 assists and has changed the game for us. And, I'm somebody who does as well give a lot more leeway to these kind of local lads, Rashford, Lingard, whatever. But, yeah, I think it's just brilliant to see that he doesn't let any of that get to him and is just ready to keep going on, and make the difference in the end.
I just wanted to ask, why? So the second half, so we go into all at half time. In the second half, we only had managed, I think, it was 1 shot on target. Why do you think that was? Why were we so poor in that second half?
Well, I mean, firstly, all right, we look at that original team sheet and it was a mess at the back, and it was something that happened a few weeks before as well, where we basically got 4 defensive midfielders on the pitch, like Tomine, Matic, Fellaini, Herrera. The only one player on the pitch at the time who's going to create anything is Pogba, and he's having a stinker. Yeah.
Yep.
He's not having a good game at all. So yeah, it comes down to that really. I mean, the 2 goals. It's only because Southampton are shit that we even get those 2 goals, really.
Yeah, that's true. The defensive was really poor as well.
Otherwise, yeah, they've let us back into this game after we were absolutely awful. And I do think as well that at half-time, Hughes has probably decided that we should just go for the draw now. because he knows that after we've come back with 2 goals that it's more likely going in our favour, and that for him at this point, even getting a point against us is a pretty decent result. So they've reorganised a little bit as well, and have probably gone more defensive than they started at. And yeah, like I say, for us in that point, if Pogba's not doing it, then there's nobody else in that lineup who's going to create anything. That's why I say when you have Mata, Fred, Martial sat on the bench, and it doesn't make any change until so late on as well. That really annoyed me. They almost seemed...
Well, it annoyed me that he kept 3. We spent the whole game with 3 at the back. Like, the whole 90 minutes with 3 at the back, which is basically 5 at the back when you're Mourinho. 94 minutes against Southampton away. Like, that is bullshit, really. Like, if that was Mourinho at Chelsea, there is absolutely no way that they would have kept with 5 at the back. No chance. He would be putting on a winger for a fullback, and he would be getting that goal. He'd be getting that goal. He'd be getting that win. Mourinho at Man United, not the same person.
Yeah, no, we don't see these kind of big changes that he used to do. Like you say, back in Chelsea days, as soon as he went 2-0 down, he probably would have hauled off a couple of players and changed it completely. But yeah, no, he has changed a lot since those days as a manager. And yeah, he might say, yeah, well, look, we came back 2-2 in it. In his post-match interview, he suggests that we dominate the second half, which I'm not too sure about, to be honest.
Interesting definition of domination.
It was that second half performance that was really, really disappointing. Because, all right, we're absolutely crap at the start. We managed to come back in 2-2. And for us to create nothing at all in that second half, and then for him not to change it until, I don't know, what minute did Martial come on?
75 minutes, I think,
Yeah,
something like that. 75 minutes.
That's the crazy thing for me. That he's not at like 60 minutes, that he's not saying, all right, we need to push and change and win this game now. That for me is a big issue. You know, I don't know whether you say cowardice, negativity, what it is, but yeah, that's at the point where it's very difficult to support what's going on anymore. Like you say, for me, until it's really the last case scenario, I'm still sticking with whoever's there.
The positive thing for me, at least, was that I got to do a good pile of ironing during the second half, which needed to be done. So that was a strong point for me. After the game, well, not after the game, today there's been reports from Duncan Castles, Jose Mourinho's seemingly press man, if you will, that he called, there was a big dressing room bust up and he called Pogba a virus, quote unquote. Away from, hypocrisy and pot kettle black, what do you think to those comments?
I don't like to comment on these kind of unsubstantiated rumours, but
it's coming from his almost his PA in Duncan Castles. If this was just random, I don't know, Sun reporter, maybe not, but because it's from Castles himself, it holds a bit more weight, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, he still leaves Pogba on for the whole. But what is it? Is this bust up supposed to be at half time or at full time?
Full time, I think.
Yeah, well, look, if that's where it's at, then if it's true, then yeah, it does look like there's dressing room is kind of falling apart there. But we had these kind of reports earlier in the season, and in the end, yeah, we went on a pretty decent run. Pogba performed pretty well after that. So yeah, I find it difficult to put a lot of worth in a lot of these kind of rumours that fly around, to be honest. Like I say, earlier in the season, we had a lot of people said, all right, it's done. People were saying he's out, and it was even coming from sources like that Mourinho's getting sacked, and in the end, yeah, he's still over here like 2 months later. I still don't know whether I feel that players aren't playing for him anymore. Every time they come back again, this is the crazy thing, that as shit as we always start these matches, they still always have this kind of mental strength to come back into these games.
But is that for Mourinho? Is that for personal pride?
But then if you have the personal pride to come back into the game, then why are you starting so badly?
I think it's okay. So if you're at your normal job, for instance, and you don't like your manager, he's not very good at his job, he's a bit of a knob to you, and you're doing a project, maybe you're not, it wouldn't be crazy to think you wouldn't put your all into it at first, but then maybe when a couple of other people see it and say, it's not very good, that, you might actually try a bit, like, oh shit, these other people looking at my work here. That's the nearest thing I can compare it to.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying there, but yeah, I don't know whether it is just one or two players, whether it is Pogba, and I don't even know who else. Because before, people talked about maybe Martial, whereas he's obviously been massively back in favour and has been performing. Who else is in doubt there? I still don't really see personally that it's a team that's not playing for a manager anymore. I actually don't see that anymore, but I do see that it's a team that's a bit lost. I mean, it's clear what is our system, who is the first 11. That's it. There's too much chopping, too much changing. Nobody knows what their positions are. What are we aiming at? I mean, we talked a couple of podcasts ago about maybe Mourinho is trying to play a more attacking style, and maybe he just doesn't know how to do that. It's just not in his DNA, and that's why it's all falling apart here.
I do also. I think a lot of players do play with the knowledge that if I mess up here, I'm out of the team again. Low on confidence, worried about making mistakes, things like that. I think probably doesn't help create more adventurous football almost.
But you're right that coming out of that half time after coming in 2-2 and then putting in that second half performance, it does kind of smack on, what is Mourinho doing? But then, at the same time, like I say, it's only a few weeks ago that they come in 2-0 down and come back and win 3-2, and down at Chelsea, come back again, down at Juventus. So, I don't know. Like I say, I really am just not sure myself anymore of where we're at, what things are at, what kind of performance we're going to put in.
Worth saying that all those three comebacks, though, but all those comebacks came without a Mourinho intervention, as in there was no direct contact with Mourinho during the comeback.
Well, Newcastle was from half time, right?
No, well, yeah, but they were 2-0 down already, and it took them 25 minutes to get a goal. That's what I'm saying. Like they scored all three goals in a row, basically. Chelsea scored both goals in the second half. Juventus scored both goals in the second half. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I say, at the moment, I honestly just don't know where we are. And like I say, I wouldn't actually be surprised if we went and put in a half-decent performance against Arsenal.
It could go either way.
Probably then lose to Fulham like a few days later, though.
Well, that's it. Like we could get stuffed against Arsenal. We could actually beat Arsenal. Either thing could happen. Similarly, we could beat Fulham. We could also lose to Fulham. Like you can't really say anything with 100% conviction at this point.
Shaw flung up towards Lukaku, who's won it well here for Imran and How Old Trafford has thirsted for that from Marouane Fellaini, which carries Manchester United kicking and screaming into the last 16 of the Champions League.
And there go the drinks.
We should probably move on to the Champions League, because the one good piece of news from the week is that we are through to the knockout phases of the Champions League, much to Valencia's annoyance.
Yeah,
with that Fellaini
with a game to spare.
Quote, with a game to spare, Fellaini scoring in basically the last minute of the game. Quite a nice goal, actually. A nice chest and a nice control and a good turn and finish. Slight suspicion of handball. I think under current rules, it's probably not handball. I don't really know. The handball rule can be a bit tricky at times. I don't think the intention's there to move the ball forward with his hand. I guess it's whether you think that if a hand is used in a goal whatsoever, it should be disallowed, but that's not technically in the rules. I don't know. I think if it had been against us, I'd have been more annoyed, let's say. But other than the goal, it wasn't a great performance by any stretch of the imagination at all. And in fact, Young Boys probably could have got a goal out of it. And if it wasn't for David De Gea making a quite incredible save, would have got a goal out of it. A couple of things to touch on this game. So let's start with it. Let's go with the De Gea save. Where'd you put that up in the pantheon of De Gea saves?
I still think I remember I think it was Everton or something where there was a couple of absolutely mega saves.
The Everton one is still my favourite De Gea save ever. It's the Everton game.
Yeah, exactly. That's for me still the top one for him. But yeah, look, it's definitely up in like a top 5 or whatever. Just because not only does he save it, he pushes it out of any kind of danger area, and from that kind of position where it looks like not only if it's going in, even if you save it, it's still going to be bobbling around somewhere. But yeah, now we just come to expect this kind of thing from De Gea. It doesn't even seem so amazing anymore because we know what we've got. And these are actually the bigger issues that going forward as a club for me, and why, even if I want to stick with the manager, that would a player like that, what reason does he have to stay with us anymore?
Fair point.
And that actually is a bigger issue for me now going forward.
To which I would say lots and lots of money.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously loved, and I think before maybe there was a couple of years ago where he was linked a lot with Madrid. I think he was quite pissed off that he wasn't.
There was the fax machine got in the way.
Well, he was also, I think also that, he wasn't number one for Spain. And maybe he was reading a lot into the fact that if I'm not playing back at home, is that why I'm not? But yeah, now he is obviously the Spanish number one. I don't know whether Madrid are still even after him. What he's even up to?
No, they've got Courtois.
Well, exactly.
Now,
that's what I mean. So it's not going to be there. So who is going to be after him?
It's PSG. PSG is the big one apparently. PSG want him.
And yeah, does he have any? He obviously doesn't have any kind of personal ties or anything there any more than he does to Manchester.
Well, we've extended his contract by a year, so I guess it puts it to bed for a little bit longer, I guess. But it is something that's going to come up. But ultimately, I don't think Mourinho is going to be here anymore by that point, and we're going to be a completely different side. And I think, it's going to be totally different. But yeah, it was a cracking save. The other thing I wanted to mention from the game was I think Marcus Rashford was probably both our most wasteful and yet our most dangerous player in the game. And he missed a good chance pretty much straight away. And I thought Mourinho's reaction to that was just, he was being a dick, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't see a reaction like that from Mourinho when Lukaku's missing chances.
Exactly. Or when Matic is not tracking back, or, but when Rashford's doing it, oh, woe is me, fucking hell. The world's coming to an end because Rashford missed a chance. Like, grow up. I mean, there should be some encouragement there. There should be some, you get it, like, you'll put it in next time. Or even just be a bit like actual like anger or something, not just this pure disappointment. Where's the encouragement in that? And this is a young lad, like he's 21, and we watch him play for England, and we heard Gareth Southgate talk about him like his long lost son. He fills him with confidence. He knows he's part of his like strongest 11. He's always going to start. He's got a place in that squad, and you see the results on the pitch. Like he's been in his last game against Croatia. He was one of the best players on the pitch. He was causing Croatia all kinds of problems. But for us, he doesn't know whether he's going to be in the team, whether he's going to be out of the team, whether the next miss means he's going to sit on the bench for however long. And yeah, I mean, I'm not just completely blaming Mourinho. Rashford's finishing is fairly poor, and he does need to improve on it. I don't know what our coaching is like at the moment. It seems to be non-existent, but that's not the point. He does need to get better at his finishing, that's fair. But he is a young lad. He has lots of good qualities to his game, and I just think he needs a bit of encouragement. He needs a bit of confidence.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, we had quite a long Rashford debate on the last podcast, and it suggested he should go on loan, which I personally thought was a ridiculous idea. But there's been a lot of
mental idea.
Well, there has been a lot of comments in support of that idea, which I was surprised by in the thread on Red Cafe and whatever. So yeah, it seems like it was kind of a 50-50 idea, whereas for me it was a crazy suggestion. But if we think back to when
I don't see why you would.
Rashford first came in the team, he was finishing everything, and not only for United, he was finishing everything for England. He went in that crazy run where on every debut, whether it was like his Derby debut, his FA Cup, Champions League debut, England debut, and he wasn't even scoring one, he was scoring 2 or 3. And I think people forget that then all of a sudden he was shifted out wide, and that's like he was still like a teenager, told to play a whole different role. And not only out wide, there was like matches where he was almost playing like fullback in the kind of super defensive parking the bus performances we had. And for me, that kind of explains a lot of what's taken away from him. And I think he probably did actually benefit him as a player in general. But if you're playing those positions and given big defensive duties, then you can't expect that you're going to keep that just killer finishing that you see from players who, you don't think that a player like Mbappe is told that you have to track back and mark this player and whatever. He's just told, listen, you go out there and you score some goals. And I was saying, look, I want Marcus Rashford to have a run up front. And if he plays 4 or 5 matches up front and doesn't do it, then yeah, fair enough. You can't complain anymore. And like you say, he missed those chances, but I still thought he was doing better than Lukaku has done in recent months.
Oh, he did more in that game than Lukaku's done for the last however many games before that.
Well, exactly.
Kind of
I think we had a comment. It was in the WhatsApp thread or whatever, where I said, "Well, at least Rashford is missing 4 chances, whereas Lukaku only manages to miss 1 in a match."
That's why I wouldn't send him out alone, because we've got Lukaku's our quote unquote main striker, and he's just so dire right now. So why would you want to send a guy out who's basically our second striker at this point? And he might not do everything right, but he causes a lot more problems than Lukaku, and he gives defenders a lot more to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
I reckon, like you said, if he was told, all right, you're going to split next 5 games, you're up front and behind you, etc., you'd see a lot better results. But I just don't think.
Well, like I said, that was exactly what I'd wanted to see. But Lukaku's come back into the team, even though he's out of form, not fully fit. And yeah, I think that's been the whole problem in this last 3 matches, really. Because, just before that, all right, we lost to City. But before that, we'd had a pretty decent run with Lukaku not in the squad. And why he's thrown back in there just makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, all right, Sanchez is out now for a while, so he's not even an option. So obviously, Lukaku comes further up the pecking order even when he's out of form from there, just by purely out of numbers of players. But still, how he started 2 out of these last 3 matches is bizarre to me.
Yeah, well, he might be injured now, thanks to his dreadful control, so we'll see what happens against Arsenal. So yeah, he did start the Palace game, which I went to. What a great way to spend a Saturday that was.
Well, a real blow for Manchester United in their battle to finish in the top 4. United 0, Palace 0.
So I think that was the first time where there was real significant booing at the end of the match.
To be fair, at the end of the game, I did shout "fuck off, Mourinho," and no one said anything. Like, often when people, I remember even when it was Moyes, someone shouted "fuck off, Moyes," other people would be like, kind of boo you or like shout you down almost, but no one said a thing. Whether that was because everyone had just fallen asleep by that point, who knows? But yeah, no one said a thing. Didn't exactly start anything. But yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's worth saying that even though, when you read an online forum like Red Cafe, there's been a lot of anti-Mourinho sentiment, and probably the majority have wanted him out for quite a while now. But would you not agree with me that actually in Old Trafford, it was quite a different feeling, and that most people were probably still with the manager and hoping that he'd still manage to turn it around?
I don't know about with the manager. I think the only reason I say not with the manager is because at some point, Jose Mourinho's Red and White Army chants tried starting and just didn't get anywhere. It was the only reason why I wouldn't think. And I think a lot of the people sitting around me aren't kind of with him, but I think they are with the team. So I think it's always quite positive around Old Trafford in terms of the team.
Yeah, a lot more positive than what you kind of find in online forums and everything, right?
Yeah, definitely. And but Lukaku's getting a lot of shit in Old Trafford at the moment, is what I would say. The biggest cheer of the day was when he went off. Yeah, he's definitely taking a lot of it. I think Matic, from where I was sat, Matic was getting a lot as well. So I don't think it's quite as rosy as it would be, and I don't think everyone's behind Mourinho.
Well, I was saying until that match,
it's not vocal.
That was the first time that I heard from a lot of people, from match goers and everything, just saying, "Oh, I think it changed a lot of people's minds that day, basically."
Yeah, I think if Arsenal start going a couple of goals up, it could get a bit bad, I'd say. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the game, so I won't be able to give a report from the ground. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But we'll get to the Arsenal in a second. We're saying actually that Palace probably could have won this game, and probably should have won this game. Actually,
yeah, I think we were actually lucky to come out 0-0.
Yeah, luckily for us, Andros Townsend can score about 2 goals a year, so missed an absolute golden chance for them. And so did, I think, Wan-Bissaka did, I think, in the first half, or whoever the fullback was. So yeah, I think we kind of got away with it. And once again, we didn't really create any great chances, which was, it's a problem for us, is creating chances. And we go through like large swathes of the game without creating anything at all. And it's, yeah, I mean, I thought Palace was a really dire performance from us. I think people gave Lindelof the man of the match in that game. because he, hobbled around injured at the end and put in some
Yeah.
tackles, which is, lovely dedication, I guess, but it's also quite stupid because he's probably he might have injured himself further from that, which doesn't really help when you then have to play 3 at the back against Southampton. But anyway, our defence was shocking in that game, so I don't really know how much for accolade man of the match is in that game. But yeah, we were really poor all through the team. I thought actually Lingard was quite bright in the first half without being spectacular, and I thought Mata was okay, and they were the 2 players that got subbed off anyway. So, that's how it goes. Do you want to talk about Palace any more than we have to?
Not really. Like I say,
Yeah.
I think, we've always had these conversations in between matches and all, and I said myself after that Palace game that, takes me a step further towards the Jose out bandwagon, and obviously 2-2 against Southampton is another step towards it as well.
Well, the next step on that ladder is Arsenal at home on Wednesday night. 8 o'clock kickoff, I think it is, at Old Trafford. You going?
No, I can't go there. The midweek is very difficult for me.
Yeah, some season ticket holders we are.
Yeah, I know. Actually, because I've been abroad with work, just back and whatever. But actually, the next matches I'll be going to are the Christmas fixtures myself.
Next game I'm going to is the Huddersfield game.
Yeah, I think I might be at that one.
Yeah,
we did predictions on the last pod, and I was hoping we'd be back towards 4th or 5th by that point. But yeah, it's looking a long way away now. And yeah, Arsenal in very good form. And
that game was excellent today. I don't know if you watched the Arsenal Spurs game, but it was one of the best games of the season. Really good stuff, and Arsenal actually looked really good. They came back from adversity as well, with Spurs getting a penalty for a dive from Son. So they were 2-1 down and came back 1-4-2. Very good performance. Aubameyang looked really, really good. He looked everything that Lukaku isn't. Quick, mobile, and quite lethal. And that Lucas Torreira lad, he looks pretty handy as well. Emery's got them playing good stuff. People thought there might be a lull in the Wenger post years, but he's changed things and done it his way, and the players have responded to it, even though they're probably not even quite where he wants them to be yet, which I think is quite positive for him and for their fans, I guess. Nick, any thoughts on Arsenal this year so far?
Well, I briefly mentioned this on the last podcast, and I say a team like Arsenal actually makes me totally reevaluate how I think about managers and everything, because we've always had this thing that, okay, we had Ferguson for a long, long time, and it was, for me, I just said, look, it was inevitable. We were going to have a period of instability after he left. But yeah, Arsenal are in a very similar position, having had Wenger in for a long, long time. I guess the slight difference is, whereas Fergie was pretty much successful right till the end, they'd been struggling for a while now.
I think
that is the big difference.
That is a big difference, I would have said.
But yeah, I don't think anybody expected Arsenal to be doing as well as they are straight away. I think nobody thought they were going to get anywhere close to top 4. Everybody thought they were going to go through a big period of adjustment. They thought, maybe the new manager will come in, it'll take time. But yeah, they're banging straight in there and hitting straight on top 4 chances, basically. And like I say, it's exactly that kind of thing that does make me reevaluate my usual position, which is to stick with the manager as much as possible and give him every chance to turn things around. And, I guess this all goes back to how Fergie came back from quite a few years of not being so great to give us that period. And I guess that's why I stick with that kind of way. But yeah, when you see teams like Chelsea who chop and change managers every 2 years and straight away seem to be doing pretty well, Arsenal as well, getting rid of somebody after decades and immediately seeing a benefit from it, then yeah, like I say, these kind of teams do make me reevaluate what I think about how clubs should be run and how managers should be. And yeah, maybe when things aren't going well, you do just change and go and say, yeah, time's up, let's go for the next guy.
I think a lot of these clubs as well have a structure in place like Chelsea clearly have a structure in place to accommodate a change in manager frequently.
Yeah, and in fact, Chelsea's normal way is to change the manager every couple of years.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
kind of just normal for them.
I guess we don't really know what the Arsenal. We don't know how long Emery is going to hang around, but the fact that he's managed to get them playing and kind of change things and hasn't been afraid to like drop Ozil out the side and do stuff like that is quite impressive, I guess. But I think the only thing they were lacking until now was a result against a big team, and I mean they were much better than Spurs today, so now they've got that under their belt. Now I guess the next thing is to go away to a big team and get a result there. But failing that, they can try get one against us instead. Sorry, that was an easy one. But yeah, so I think they'll be well up for it. You know, Arsenal don't have a great record at Old Trafford.
No, yeah, I mean, we've actually done pretty well against Arsenal for quite a few years in general. Just looking at like the past 6 matches, we've won half of them, and one was a draw, and they had 2 home wins in there, but they've not beaten us at Old Trafford for at least 3 years now. I can't even remember when it was the last time they have.
I mean, last year we beat them 2-1 at Old Trafford with a last-minute Fellaini goal. He loves those. And
we beat them 3-1 away.
We won.
I think we were 3-0 up.
No, it was 2-0, 2-1, then 3-1. It was one of the most maddest games of football of last season, where Arsenal absolutely peppered us with shots in the first half, and De Gea managed to just keep everything out by hook or by crook. So, but yeah, I think obviously it's a much different proposition this year, and we are in a much different state as well. We don't really know who's going to be in defence, whether we're going to have Bailly or Smalling or even Rojo's going to be fitter. You would hope that we don't go 3 at the back again, because it was disastrous and didn't really work at all.
Actually, I have not seen much of the post-match stuff. So has there been what's been said about Smalling and Bailly?
He made his usual comments of, I expect players to play through injury and yada yada yada, and these two don't play through injuries and all that shit. It's ridiculous, really. If they're injured, they're injured. Playing through injury is not really going to help anyone. From that, you would assume that their knocks are light, maybe.
Yeah.
Is what I would, but who knows? Whether they'll be back in time for Wednesday. I imagine if Rojo could be on the bench for Saturday, you would assume he'd be fit enough to start by the Wednesday.
Yeah, when he's not played at all anyway.
I mean, Rojo and Jones is a mad centre-back pairing. But it's better than, McTominay and Matic being back there. I guess the only negative thing about that is it means Matic will go back into midfield, where he will probably be overrun and probably not track his men and will probably concede a goal from it. So that'll be nice to look forward to. I mean, there's no point in predicting who will play, because ultimately, pick anyone. Mata might come back in, Fred might come back in, Pogba probably won't play after him being quite poor. Rashford will probably go up front again, you would have thought. But who knows? I guess the main thing is, what do you think the score will be?
Like you say, when you don't have any idea about who's going to be playing, what formation we're going to have, how can you make any kind of prediction about what the score is going to be? I mean, like I say,
exactly.
At the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually turned out a decent result. And then I'd fully expect that we went and threw it away against Fulham a few days later. That's been our kind of standard way of doing things recently.
I think the opposite. I think they'll beat us, and Mourinho still won't go, and then we'll beat Fulham, and he'll be around for a bit longer.
Whatever happens, I hope Mourinho still lasts another month, actually, because I did have a bet with a mate of mine quite early in the season.
That's not a reason to hope Mourinho stays.
It's a personal reason, just to at least keep my money in my pocket.
Dreadful reason. I mean, we've got Liverpool coming up later in December, and they keep managing to pull results out of wherever.
Although, let's not forget we need to focus on our few bright spots that we can go at, and that this most amazing attacking Liverpool team of all time have struggled in their Champions League group and odds on to be going out at the moment, whereas we're through with a game to spare.
Yeah, annoyingly though, I still think they'll go through, because Liverpool seem to be managed to pull things out of, like today. I mean, have you seen that Everton
goal? I've not seen the goal, but I saw that they won with the last-minute winner. Yeah,
just it's quite unbelievable that they've somehow managed
from
to
actually
score
some
from that.
player, Origi, that I actually completely forgot existed. I didn't even realise he was still a Liverpool player.
Well, it's basically like I think it's Van Dijk or something, whacks the ball into the air, like properly spoons it into the air, and it's one of those that like, so it's going to like drop onto the crossbar or something, and like Pickford kind of basically makes a right mess of it, and basically it ends up at Origi's feet with Pickford completely out of the goal. It's really bad from Pickford. England's number one, Jordan Pickford, but yeah, like just mental. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that game, but that's 2 weeks away. We got Fulham coming up, and then we got Valencia, and then Liverpool. So we'll probably try and record after the Fulham game. Quick word on Fulham: they got a new manager in Ranieri. Today they lost 2-0 to Chelsea, but they did win his first game against Southampton. Would you believe Southampton 3-2? Fulham can beat them. We can't. So Fulham will be coming to Old Trafford. Hard to know what to expect when, still got a new manager, still adopting it to new things. They've been leaky in terms of the defence has been quite poor, and they still conceded 4 goals in the last 2 games. So if we can avoid a 0-0 draw against Fulham, it should, bonus, because there's no way we should not be scoring against them. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, well, look, like I said, we've had these Newcastle, Palace, Southampton teams who we've played who've been in the most awful form, can't buy a goal, haven't kept clean sheets for weeks and weeks, and we still managed to struggle against them all.
Did you know that we've had 20 0-0 draws since Sir Alex Ferguson left, which is the second most in the Premier League?
No, I didn't know that. I did see there was a thread with the question being asked on Red Cafe actually, but I hadn't seen what the result was. I know there was tons in that Van Gaal season, wasn't there?
There was a 0-0 draw against Hull at home, which I do not remember at all, and I probably went to that game. And it does not ring a bell. Do you remember that 0-0 against Hull at home?
No, but what I like I say, I do remember there was a terrible run in that Van Gaal year. Where
if anyone can remember anything from 0-0 against Hull at home, please let me know. I feel like I was there, but I would have been there, but it just does not ring a bell at all. So yeah, hopefully we avoid some 0-0 draws at least this week, which I think
that was the big bonus of this Southampton game. At least it wasn't 0-0.
It wasn't 0-0. Yeah, we actually scored 2 goals. So yeah, we'll try record after the Fulham game next week. So you can look out for that. So yeah, in the meantime, you can reply to us on Red Cafe, hit us up on Twitter at United Hour, and yeah, just send us questions, send us your thoughts. Always appreciated, and leave some reviews on iTunes and wherever. We really appreciate it. So yeah, other than that, anything else to add, Nick?
Not really. Like I say, I'm just a bit confused myself about where I'm at about things at the moment. I've been wanting to support Jose and go forward from there, but yeah, this run of 3 games, you just can't really see where we go from that.
Okay, here, quick question to end. Percentage chance that Mourinho's still our manager next time we record?
I think he will be. 75% he'll still be our manager next time we record.
Yeah, I will go for. I was going to say 75% as well. It's probably more like 90, but I like to have a glimmer of hope that things might change. So
I'm pretty sure he'll still be our manager till the end of the year.
To the end of the year, I'd give it about 50%. If we lose badly to Valencia and Liverpool, something might happen. Even though the Valencia game's a write-off, but I don't know. I think Liverpool is a big one.
Well, yeah, I actually think it's more these Fulhams and Huddersfields and whatever that are the ones that will really make the difference.
Hey, we've not played Huddersfield yet. We can beat them.
Your local team.
We actually have we've got Cardiff and Huddersfield back to back. God knows what's going to happen in those 2 games. Anyway, yeah. So until next time, cheers everyone. Well, I say everyone. Cheers, Nick. We'll talk to you for an hour.
Good night, all.